fast and first with the latest news every 30 minutes.
The administration is weighing a number of options that could expose our troops to more danger.
News Talk KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 5:03. Make that. I'm Bill Walter with this KVNU News Update. Tragic news this afternoon. A woman was killed in a single vehicle crash along SR 218 west of Smithfield. Crews are still clearing the scene. We'll have more information from KVNU's Will Philwright coming up at the bottom of the hour news. Judging from several online rating services, the practical nursing program at Logan's Bridgerland Technical College is among the country's elites at turning out LPNs. BTech's LPN program is third in the nation, according to nurse.org. Practicalnurse.org says it's number one in Utah, and nursingprocess.org rates BTech second among 423 programs in the western U.S. BTech Practical Nursing Director Yvonne Manning said credit for this success goes to an exceptional faculty.
They are wonderful nurse educators. So they've all had clinical experience, and some of them continue to work in the clinical setting so they can stay abreast of the newest current trends. And they also have that very caring support that they give to students.
Manning explains the LPN program is initially 2 semesters long.
After that, they're able to go on through a contractual agreement with Weber State University to the RN, or Registered Nurse program. And so that one actually is 2 more semesters, so the 3rd and 4th semester. And we do that right here at Bridgerland.
And we'll hear more from Yvonne Manning with Craig Hislop's interview with her this hour on KVNU's For the People. KVNU News Time is 5:05. KVNU weather for tonight becoming mostly clear later on tonight. Low temperature around 30 and then partly cloudy, becoming mostly sunny on Friday, mid-50s, but chance of rain and some snow actually mixed in Saturday morning. Chance of rain in the afternoon, about 30%. It was 51 today. Right now it's 45 degrees at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Legacy Way Insurance. Open enrollment for Marketplace Health Insurance runs through December 15th. Legacy Way offers no-charge help to answer your questions. If you're not sure what to do, they can help. LegacyWayLLC.com or call 435-890-2669. And more than 40 years after a pair of women were found dead in Weber County, investigators have unveiled new information in the cold cases in hopes it may spark someone's memory. In August 1982, the body of 21-year-old Tina Gallegos was found floating in the Ogden River. The tragedy ignited more questions when a few weeks later, in September 1982, the body of Gabriel Di Stefano, age 14, was located in a ditch by the Harrisville Police Department. Investigators linked the 2 cases after the deaths by the presence of matching bullets recovered from the bodies of both young women. Kristen Perkins never got to meet her cousin Gabby, but made a promise to her grandfather that she would get the case solved. Now, Weber County officials are asking for the public's help in identifying a towel and shower curtain that was found close to Di Stefano's body. The towel is white with the words Apartment 15 in one corner of the towel. Officials say it's not known if the inscription was embroidered or written with a marker. In addition, the shower curtain is very light yellow and has light green markings at the bottom of it. Officials are not sure where the towel and shower curtain came from, but said learning their origin could greatly help the investigation. Those with information should contact the Weber County Attorney's Office. And again, a report of a fatal accident west of Smithfield, and we're hoping to learn more on our next newscast. KVNU News Time is 5:07. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Don't miss KVNU Aggie Game Day on 102 FM 610 AM and at kvnutalk.com.
Are you tired of sifting through all the Medicare confusion from your mailbox, TV, and endless phone calls from telemarketers? Let Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services simplify it for you.
I can't believe the peace of mind they've given me. They help me clearly understand Medicare and explain all my insurance options.
The experts at Jessup Insurance know Medicare inside and out. I've never felt more secure in my Medicare decisions. They found the perfect plan for me and made sure I had all the benefits that were available to me.
At Jessup Insurance, they're not just insurance experts. They're your local guides through the Medicare maze.
It's like having a trusted friend you can rely on.
Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services, making sure you have all the benefits available to you. Call them today at 435-213-3200 or Google Jessup Insurance and say goodbye to all the Medicare confusion.
Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services, let us guide you.
Hi, this is Britton Atkinson with White Pine Funeral Services. We are excited to host our annual holiday concert featuring a choir and musical ensemble by Jay Richards. All are welcome to attend free of charge. We would like to extend a special invite to those who are missing a loved one this holiday season. Food donations are encouraged at the door for the Cash Food Pantry. The performance will be held at White Pine on Tuesday, December 5th at 7 o'clock p.m. Please visit whitepinefunerals.com for more information.
What if we told you the next 3 times you fill your tank, you could save money? Well, at Chevron, it's true. You can get $1 off per gallon on your next 3 visits when you download the Chevron app and join Chevron Rewards. Earn points on every fuel transaction and qualifying in-store purchases at any Cache Valley Chevron station. Doesn't it feel great to get rewarded for being you? Download the app and join to get started today. Terms and conditions apply. Visit any Cache Valley Chevron station for details or go to ChevronTexacleRewards.com.
If cost is preventing you from calling an attorney after your accident, you can stop worrying now. You can call the Advocates and discuss your case with an experienced Cache Valley attorney at no cost to you. At the Advocates, when we say you pay zip, nil, nothing, we mean it. Our consultations are free and we don't get paid unless we win your case. Let us be your advocate and we will fight for the settlement you deserve without you ever opening your wallet. Call 801-355-5550 or chat online at utahadvocates.com.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People, Hour 2 of today's show. I'm Jason Williams, Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Quite a bit happening on the national front. You may have heard these headlines already. The circus that is Congressman George Santos. Man, this has been a story since his election last year. House Ethics Committee concluded in their report basically that he, quote, sought to fraudulently exploit every aspect of his House candidacy for his own personal financial profit. New York voters have an option to oust him. It would require gathering signatures. The House Republicans could vote to eject him, and they might still. I'm guessing what happens here probably is he just serves out quietly the last year of his term, and then doesn't run for re-election. But, man, what a report. We won't spend much time on that. It's national news. It's being widely covered everywhere. And we do have another national story we'll get to here in a bit. By the way, there was a vote. Senator Lee, Crapo, and Risch, 3 Republicans who voted no on the bill in the Senate to avert the government shutdown. And, of course, passed with all the other Republicans voting yes with the Democrats. And looks like tomorrow the shutdown won't happen. We've staved it off again for a few weeks. And Congress remains dysfunctional and unable to do the most basic of things they are elected to go there to do. But that's a conversation for another day as well. I wanted to talk about this because I don't know really where I'm at on it, but on Twitter today, and probably a little bit on Facebook, though I haven't spent much time there of late, there was basically a day-long debate that's been happening nationwide after a Washington Post story was published this morning. And you know, Bill, I realize I'm going to ask you about this, but I realize we should have asked Charlie too, as a trained journalist. But we'll do that another day because this is a question for people in the news, but it's also an ethical question, but it's also a question for the public. I don't know if you saw this. The Washington Post today published. They'd received them through proper channels, public records requests, and police departments. But they published never-before-seen photos and video of school shootings today. And they did so with a lengthy story with a lot of warnings, so no one scrolling through these stories was going to be surprised. In fact, every set of photos came with a warning. What you're about to see is X. If you don't want to see that, click here, and it will jump to below those photos. And this was everything from video I'd never seen of the Las Vegas shooting to photos of classrooms from Uvalde, Texas, and Sandy Hook that
that'd be tough. I mean, that's stuff that first responders and investigators see.
Yeah, basically that's what was published today. And again, with warnings. This wasn't just put on the front page of the print edition. I don't even know if does the Washington Post still print? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I know the New York Times does, but anyway. So this wasn't just thrown in everybody's face. This was This was responsibly and carefully done. And again, every set of photos you have to you can read the story without seeing the photos, where there are descriptions of and quotes from the people in the photos, if that was an option. One of them, for example, is a picture of popcorn soaked in blood on the floor of a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado. To give you an example of some of the stuff you'll see. Another is a man who we found out later, was an Army reservist who has his body thrown over. He's in a bear hug, basically crouched over a woman on the ground in Las Vegas during that shooting, which I can't remember the name of the festival, but Jason Aldean was on stage, I know, when it happened.
Oh, that was what is it, Route 91?
Yeah, Route 91.
Harvest Festival or something in Las Vegas.
And
in, what was that, October 1st of 2017?
Was it that long ago?
2018?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
It was, so there's...
I just remember the October 1st. So it was 1st of October.
Well, there's a photo of a young man who has thrown himself over a young woman to protect her. And around them are people who have, in the photo you can see, have clearly been shot. Now, one other thing to point out, another responsible thing the Washington Post did was they, with people identified in the photos, they got permission. So that could be people who are alive that are in the photos, but also people who are dead in the photos. They got permission from their families. If they didn't get permission, they did not publish the photo. It says that right at the start of the story. So personally, I think Washington Post handled this very professionally and very carefully, thoughtfully, and some of it I will never forget seeing. I felt a responsibility to look myself. I didn't want to, and some of the, I don't even know if it would be proper for me to describe to you some of the photos of shootings that have happened in grade school classrooms and how much blood an AR-15 puts out on the floor. But also kind of driving it home as well, what those classrooms look like even outside of the dead children and the blood. The holes in a steel door the size of a baseball from those rounds going through. Some of the photos from the synagogue shooting as well that showed how much damage was done. And one that really just kind of hit me, it was a prayer book at the synagogue that had basically been hollowed straight through by an AR-15. And yeah, so there's video as well. Bill, this was one that really will stick with me forever because I've heard the sound of an AR-15 at a range, and in video I've seen of military exercises, but there's a lengthy video, never before publicly available, of the shooting at that. Jason Aldean is on the stage. It was taken by a crew member, one of Jason Aldean's crew members. They're filming him for, I don't know, probably some promotional thing coming up. Who knows? That's not explained. But in the video, you can see the reason it was made evidence by police is in that video over Jason Aldean's shoulder before he's aware what's happening, before he runs off the stage.
Yeah, I've seen that video a bunch of times.
Where he runs off?
Yeah, where you hear the tat, 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 tat over the music, and he yells to the person at the side, and he says, was that gunfire?
This one is from the other angle of the stage, and you can see the hotel room where the gunfire is emanating from. And you see that because it has a light to it,
right,
in the light of Vegas especially. You see that. Well, I mean, you wouldn't if you were just there and weren't looking for it. But since you know why you're looking at the video, you see that. You see the muzzle. You see the flashes. And you see the kind of the tracer light, they call it. And then you see people drop in front of the stage, like feet from security in front of the stage. It is one of the, I mean, honestly, I'm not describing this to people, and I haven't described in detail some of the things that I will never forget seeing from scrolling through this story today. I will describe one because I feel like we have a responsibility to know this side of these things if we're going to have a debate about what to do or what not to do in this country about the prevalence of focusing myself on children getting slaughtered at school. The folks I've talked to who seem to be able to turn a blind eye to that it blows me away. It's offensive to me, actually. I'm not saying I have the solution. I'm not saying that I'm skeptical when somebody says banning the AR-15 would be a solution. I'm also very skeptical when someone says it wouldn't, because you know what? We don't know. We don't. And anyone claiming to know one way or another is just claiming that. They don't have evidence, and they should probably admit that as well. We don't know what would happen if we were to ban the AR-15. There are some common sense things that we've talked about. I don't know a justifiable reason any civilian needs a high-capacity magazine or a revolving... honestly, it's in one of the photos. Splattered with blood and the marks of a child's body being drug out of the room in one of these police photos. On the ground are these canisters you can attach to one of these guns. In this case, this individual fired 1,100 rounds in 5.5 minutes. No civilian needs that. So, I think there's common sense in some of this. Just a gut instinct on my part when someone says, should we ban high-capacity rounds? I think we probably should. Considering how they've been used by civilians to date, yeah, we probably should. But again, when somebody says we should ban AR-15s, that'll stop this. I don't know that we have evidence, or I don't know that we have data or evidence to suggest that. We have some things other countries have done that seem to have made a difference as far as restrictions on guns go. And I think it's equally as foolish to pretend that any right is so sacrosanct that we can't restrict them in any way. I use this example all the time. You can't own... It's very difficult to buy a grenade launcher, and you can't own a nuke for self-defense. We already restrict weapons. We've already decided that is okay. Again, I'm not saying these are the solutions that I'm sold on or that I even have a clue what the real solutions would be. I can tell you looking at these photos today that I'm not going to recommend anyone go look at these. If you want to, the link is right there on the Washington Post website. What I am going to say is the effect it had on me is it makes me angry at those people who literally spend energy and effort pretending these things didn't happen in order to hold on to their chosen political beliefs. That is offensive to me after seeing these photos today of children and what these weapons do to them in a classroom when someone comes in and starts firing. It troubled me. So now, this isn't the conversation that I wanted to really have today. It's a conversation that is just sort of necessary if you're going to talk about this. The conversation I wanted to have today is the debate that was happening on social media, which has really intrigued me. It's an ethical question, and the question is basically this. Should the Washington Post have published these videos and photos? They're troubling. As I've said a couple times now, they did it responsibly. Anyone in the photos or videos has been asked for permission and given it. If permission wasn't given, the photo wasn't published. There are warnings all throughout this story. You don't see a single photo involuntarily. You can read the whole story without seeing a single photo or clip of video. You have to actually click on them to see them. Again, I felt a responsibility to do it as I read the story this morning. I understand if someone doesn't want to. I don't think anyone should be forced to. But I do think we have a tendency to ignore this side of our debates in this country when it comes to school shootings, the slaughter of children, and some of these weapons that are really easy to get. I think we should have that debate. You know, it's a question of freedoms. It's a question of actual solutions versus solutions that just feel good. So we definitely should have that debate, but I don't think anyone should even pretend, even if it's just around the water cooler at work, to enter into that debate unless you are going to go look at these photos and these videos. See this side of it. But again, the question I have for our listeners is, should the Washington Post have published them? They're getting a lot of criticism for this today. A lot of folks saying they shouldn't have published them. That this is, they're trying to make money off of the pain and suffering of families and the photos and videos of slaughtered children. The Washington Post, a journalist who wrote the story, said their internal newsroom debate was long and went on for weeks. They've had these now for 3 months. They've been debating it since until publishing them today. And what they decided was that, well, they decided they have a responsibility to make them public, to at least give the public the option to see inside a classroom full of children that has recently been shot up by a troubled person with an AR-15. They thought they as journalists had a responsibility to make it available, and that those who choose to see that side of it had the option to see that side of it. I think they made the right call. Many others don't, including one very prominent journalist, ethicist, who has written extensively about journalism ethics at the New York University. What he had to say, criticizing the Washington Post for publishing this on the other side. But I'd love to hear from you. Should they have done it? Did the Washington Post make the right call publishing these photos and these videos? 753-5868. We'll be back right after this.
Here's Chad, the lawn doctor, with a fall tip for your yard.
With a cooler summer and rain in the fall, lawns are looking good. Don't skip the last fertilizer application of the season. In fact, the fall application may be the most important of all. It's the one that gets your lawn through the winter and off to a great start in the spring. Call the lawn doctor at 753-LAWN and let's get your winter fertilizer application scheduled.
For a better-looking lawn next spring, call Lawn Doctor for your last lawn treatment of the season. Call 753-LAWN or go to LawnDoctorCashValley.com.
They love home game days at Locker 42. Saturday, it's the end of the home football season when the Aggies host Boise State. A 5 p.m. kickoff means cooler game temperatures and dressing warmly with a jacket and hat from Locker 42. Or stay really warm with an Igloo fan wrap. Full of unique Aggie items and apparel. Locker 42, a store exclusively for Aggie fans.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend, the American way of life. Since 1775, wherever the mission takes us, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Flace with today's tip for kids from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Parents make all kinds of choices about their child's health. One important way you can protect your child's health is with vaccines. Viruses and bacteria are unpredictable, and even healthy children can develop severe complications.
I'm all done.
By vaccinating, you can feel good that you're doing everything you can to protect your child from harmful diseases. If you have questions about your child's vaccines, talk with your pediatrician and visit healthychildren.org.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Talking about the Washington Post decision today to publish never-before-seen photos and video of inside classrooms and other locations where there has been a mass murder with an AR-15. The synagogue, the Uvalde School, the Stoneman Douglas School in Florida, all of these places. These are police photos. These are evidence, basically, that has now been released via public records request to the Washington Post. And I talked about my experience seeing them, and we can talk about that too if you want. I'm not going to tell anyone they should see it. I'm going to tell you it's available and that I felt a responsibility to see it because I knew, we'll talk about these things on the show. So I feel a responsibility if I'm going to have that debate to see that side of it. And I admonish anyone who doesn't see that side of it and yet has an opinion strongly, because you have to see all sides of things. And this is definitely a side of it. I'm asking, though, was the Washington Post right to publish these photos in a responsible way? Kim on the line. Kim, your thoughts. Did they make the right call?
I think they did for people like yourself who want to go in and not that you're promoting this, but that you're bringing it back to our attention. I myself probably will not go look at them, but I think by you talking to these points and raising the awareness again has been a good thing and will be a good thing. I just wish there was some way that instead of shooting the gunman down or maybe the gunman taking his own life, that they could knock some sense into him and then show him those pictures when he's in his senses and go.
It almost seems like the proper punishment, right, Kim?
Yes.
For somebody who
you have to see this, but most people who do things like that aren't in their right minds anyway, so it wouldn't really make sense. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. Well, I love listening to your show.
Oh, thank you, Kim. Always great to hear, and thank you for calling. And I had a little internal debate about it. This is something I didn't want to see. Some of these photos I will never burn out of my memory. And wish I'd never seen them. And some of the stories that set the photos up or even make it even harder. But as Kim said, I'm going to be talking about these things. I'm going to be, based on the show that I host, I'm going to be forming opinions about these things and trying to get, elicit our listeners to share their opinions. I feel that in that situation, I have a responsibility to see, all sides of this. And it can't just be a philosophical debate about rights. No right is untouchable. We restrict rights all the time if we have good reason. We should be careful about it and selective about it and not do it too often, but we do it. So it can't stay there. So that would be my challenge to anyone who is really invested in this debate, especially specifically over this one weapon, the AR-15, and the proposal that often comes up and goes nowhere that we ban it. I think if you're going to have a strong opinion about that, if you're going be an activist even on that front, I think you have a responsibility to go see what the Washington Post published today. But like Kim, I feel for everyone else out there, again, it's easy to find if you want to see it. Having looked at these, I will tell you, your imagination, I would leave it at your imagination. These are troubling things to see. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for it. I thought I was. I knew a lot of the descriptions of what had happened in classrooms in Texas at the Uvalde elementary school shooting, but I wasn't prepared for this that I saw today. So, like Kim, I wouldn't recommend to anyone looking at these unless you are going to be invested in this debate. Then I feel like you have a responsibility to look at these things and see all sides of the debate you're having. And this is, without a doubt, one of the sides of our gun debate in this country. A tragic one. All right. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you, Kim, again for the call and for being a listener. It's always great to hear from someone who listens. And join us again anytime, 753-5868. Now, a little late, we'll get to the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 5:34. A 54-year-old Newton woman died this afternoon in a single-vehicle crash west of Smithfield. The accident was reported just after 3 p.m. along SR 218 between Amalga and Newton. Utah Highway Patrol Sergeant Cade Brenchley said the woman was driving eastbound near 3000 West SR 218 when she went off the roadway.
For an unknown reason, she drifted off the road to the right and ended up taking out a power pole, and it spun her car around. A witness said he thinks her vehicle going airborne, and then it ended up spinning around, landing upside down in this canal.
No other vehicles were involved in the crash. A man who was working nearby was the only witness of the accident, and he immediately called 911. Brenchley said there was several feet of water in the canal. The car was found partially submerged when paramedics from Smithfield City Fire Department arrived on scene.
We ended up having to use a Rocky Mountain power truck to hook on and pull it up a little bit just to give them some space to be able to get to her, and they did get her out, but at this point she did die in the crash.
The woman was the only occupant in the vehicle, and her identity is not being released pending notification of family. Brenchley said initial evidence does not suggest impairment was a factor in the crash, but an investigation has been initiated.
And we're not exactly sure what caused her to go off the road, if she was distracted, if she fell asleep, or if she had a medical episode.
Troopers closed a section of SR 218 while crews investigated the crash and removed the car from the canal. The Utah Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity has announced a significant tax reduction for Utah flour milling, an expansion project connected to the growth of Campbell's in Richmond. Utah Flour Milling has committed to creating 31 new high-paying jobs and investing $57 million in Cache County over the next 5 years as part of their expansion plan. The company will receive tax incentives for the expansion as part of Utah's Rural Economic Development Tax Increment Financing Program. Sean Milne, Economic Development Director of Cache County, said in a statement that Utah Flour Mill's presence in Cache County is not just a promising opportunity, it's a testament to unwavering commitment to economic development and job creation within the community. Sean went on to say they will find a welcome home in Cache Valley's agricultural culture, that is, and heritage. The expansion and incentive package is a partnership between Utah Flour Milling, LLC, and Campbell's as they plan to construct a state-of-the-art flour mill adjacent and connected to the Campbell's Bakery. Earlier this summer, Campbell's announced a $160 million expansion to their facility in Richmond. And House Speaker Brad Wilson left office praising the part-time Utah State Legislature for their work to advance important public policy issues for the people of the state. Speaker Wilson pointed to tax cuts, the Point of the Mountain and inland port development projects, higher education reforms, and significant shifts in water policy. It was Speaker Wilson's efforts to save the Great Salt Lake that earned him a unique parting gift. The Utah Department of Natural Resources named an airboat it will use on the lake after him. He broke a bottle over Wilson's Water Warrior to christen it, and he and fellow lawmakers sipped sparkling cider. Alcohol, of course, is not allowed on the Utah State Capitol grounds, nor does Speaker Wilson imbibe, but he thanked them for the honor. Speaking on water policy in his news conference, Speaker Wilson said he was proud of the accomplishments with bills and $1 billion in spending focused on water conservation measures. He personally pushed bills designed to reverse the Great Salt Lake's historic designs. Speaker Wilson is leaving the Utah State Legislature to campaign for the open U.S. Senate seat being left by retiring Senator Mitt Romney. KBNU News Time is 5:38.
U.S. and Israeli officials say they are making progress in a U.S. and Qatar brokered deal to rescue dozens of Israeli hostages.
All I can tell you is we're focused on this intensely, and look, I'm hopeful that we can bring people home.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken speaking exclusively tonight with ABC's David Muir. IDF forces found the body of a hostage near Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza. Yehudit Weiss was kidnapped on October 7th. A mistrial in the case against a former Louisville, Kentucky police officer in the botched 2020 raid which killed Breonna Taylor. The jury couldn't reach a verdict against Brett Hankison.
You know, a mistrial is not an acquittal, and so we live another day to fight for justice for Breonna.
Taylor family lawyer Lenity Baker says they'll push for a retrial. Special counsel David Weiss is using an L.A.-based grand jury to pursue its investigation into Hunter Biden's taxes. Stocks closed mixed today. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
KBNU weather for tonight becoming mostly clear later on tonight, low around 30, then partly cloudy in the morning, becoming mostly sunny, and mid-50s for the high. Chance of rain and snow, though, by Saturday morning, and a chance of rain showers in the afternoon, about 30%. High on Saturday, around 50. It's been to 51. It's 43 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry. Make sure to stop into the Logan location to see the huge new washers and dryers. So many more to serve you and get you in and out quicker. Mount Logan Laundry in Logan and Brigham City. You can always get more news at CashValleyDaily.com.
Dr. Josh Redd, chiropractic physician, explains how Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
If you have low thyroid and you're taking thyroid medication, the biggest question you should ask yourself is what's causing my low thyroid specifically? If you don't know the answer to that question, it's important to call us. At Red River, we identified triggers that will cause the low thyroid to begin with. One of the most common causes of low thyroid is a disease called Hashimoto's disease. This is an autoimmune disease that is a lot more complicated than just a primary thyroid issue. This is why people will be on thyroid hormone but still feel little to no improvement because nothing's being done to address the bigger, more complicated problem, which is Hashimoto's. If you have low thyroid or you have an autoimmune disease and you're on medication and still don't feel well, call Red River.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
This is Mark with Anderson Seed and Garden. Our annual Christmas open house is this weekend, November 17th through 18th. Anderson's will be completely transformed into a holiday wonderland with a forest of gorgeous decorated Christmas trees, LED and traditional lights, wreaths, and everything you'll need to decorate your home for the holidays. Don't miss out Anderson Seed and Garden's open house. Come see what's new for the holidays at Anderson Seed and Garden. Anderson's on Center Street in Logan.
Hey, business owners, when it comes to your employee benefits package, you deserve the best. This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits. We believe employee benefits should be affordable and hassle-free. Let's sit down and give your benefits package a fresh look. Call Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits today, 435-752-0101.
At the Sports Academy, we are grateful for our team, instructors, and certified trainers who provide the best group classes and are committed to your results. We are grateful to be able to provide the largest selection of brand new cardio and strength equipment. Most of all, we are grateful for the good health that we all enjoy. Join us in giving thanks this month. Donate a non-perishable food item and sign up for just $25. Let's all give thanks for our good health and enjoy life at the Sports Academy. Your club, your results, your life.
For 125 years, S.C. Needham Jewelers has been known for quality jewelry at affordable prices. We have a beautiful selection of diamond jewelry, birthstone jewelry, gold and silver, pearls, and mother's rings. Show your fine taste with a beautifully wrapped gift. Prices start at $29. This year we were voted as #1 jeweler in the best of Northern Utah. Come enjoy our festive atmosphere and select a beautiful piece of jewelry this Christmas. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.C. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. A couple of texts coming in from listeners here, and so we'll get to that quickly. I'd ask the question, did the Washington Post do the right thing today when they published photos of investigative photos from police of classrooms and hallways at elementary schools where a school shooting, where a mass murder had happened, where children were slaughtered? Their explanation again was they felt that they had a responsibility to publish them, and I clicked through the story. They did it really responsibly. You can read the whole story without seeing a single photo or video clip. You have to click on each one to make it display on their website. So no one's going to accidentally be shown any of this. It's not going to be shopped around. They've even locked them in with embedded code, so you can't download them and put them on social media. They handled it very, very responsibly. And the question is, should they have done it in the first place? And Kim had called in and said, I think they should have, but not everyone needs to see it. And I agree with her. Someone like me, I felt a responsibility to see it. If we're going to talk about these things on the show, I feel a responsibility to be at least as familiar as I can be with all sides of the debate. And I'm sorry, blood in classrooms and dead children is a side of this debate. You might not want to think about that, but that's irresponsible on your part. I think if you're going to be an activist on this level, if you're going to advocate or even call or email a lawmaker about these things, you have a responsibility to see these photos and video. I will never forget seeing them, but I will never recommend to anyone else that they go see them. But it's easy to find if you want to. Another listener texting in here, the listener says, I looked, I wish I hadn't, but I felt I had a responsibility to see these photos just as a news consumer. I don't agree. I don't feel that just a news consumer or someone who feels a responsibility to be informed, I don't think you need to see this stuff. I'm not telling you not to. I don't think there's anything wrong with going and looking. I did. I felt a responsibility to do it, to read the story and click on the photos and watch the videos. But I don't think, to be informed, I don't think you need to see, every graphic side of this. Just knowing the photos exist is enough. Knowing that the photos had to be published in such a careful way, implying that their graphic nature, I think that's enough for the average news consumer to know the gravity of the debate and what happens in these classrooms full of children when someone comes in with an AR-15 and starts shooting. So I think, I don't agree that you need to see them. Just know that the story was published and that there's a debate over whether it should be published, and that the Washington Post had to basically create an entirely new website to publish these so that it could be handled carefully and responsibly. To me, that's enough. Again, if you want to see them, they're out there. I'm not going to link to them even, but I think the Washington Post did the right thing. I think they should be available for those who want to see them. And I do believe if you are a talking head like me, or an activist that might even call or email a lawmaker on gun control issues or things like that. I think those of us in that world, we have a responsibility to see them. You can't pretend this side of the debate doesn't exist, and too many do. So that's the Washington Post said that's basically why they felt they had to publish them, because they should be available for those who want to see them or need to see them. So appreciate the texts and calls. As you can tell, I'm still, not a lot bothers me these days. This one bothered me. I'm still pretty affected by this. So, all right. We'll take our last break here really quick, and on the other side, talk about something I really love to talk about, Bridgerland Tech. BTech, as they call themselves now. Their practical nursing program is getting some well-deserved recognition. And KVNU foreign correspondent Craig Hislop has the details. We'll get to that right after this.
You can't expect a policeman to unclog your drain. You shouldn't ask a teacher to change your oil. And you wouldn't want a fireman to clean your teeth. So why would we let politicians take over our internet service? That's just not what they do. Experience proves government-run networks mean waste, corruption, and failure. One example, called Utopia, promised to provide internet service in 16 cities within a few years. But over 20 years and hundreds of millions of dollars later, a better name would be dystopia. They say it's almost complete. We say stop wasting our money. Go to nogovinternet.com and tell lawmakers enough is enough. Local tax dollars are precious, and public employees have plenty to do already. Don't let politicians mess with our internet. Paid for by nogovinternet.com, a project of Domestic Policy Caucus.
Not sure what to give for a holiday gift for family or employees? How about a gift card to Beehive Pub and Grill? Receive a voucher for a free gelato with a $25 gift card purchase, or a voucher for a free burger or sandwich of your choice with a $50 gift card purchase. Take care of your coworkers, employees, and family with a gift card from Beehive Pub and Grill. Open 11 to 8:30 weekdays and 11 to 9 Friday and Saturday. Beehive Pub and Grill is perfect for the holidays.
The Cash Education Foundation's Christmas Tree Jubilee, presented by DWA Construction, is Monday, November 20th. But you can bid now on exclusive experiences and amazing gifts for family and friends. Visit 32auctions.com/CEF 2023. That's the number 32auctions.com/CEF 2023. Log on now and start bidding. 32auctions.com/CEF 2023.
Aggie basketball is heard here. New head coach Danny Sprinkle is looking to lead the Aggies back to a conference championship.
We have a lot of work to do, but it's a great team to coach, and they're fun to be around every day, and I think they're going to get better and better.
KVNU is your station for the best game day coverage, with pregame beginning 1 hour before tip-off, play-by-play and post-game interviews, and Aggie call afterwards. It's Aggie basketball on News Talk KVNU, the heritage home for the Aggies.
We'll jump right back in here so that we have time to do it justice, because they deserve it, both the recognition and us talking about it. BTech's practical nursing program is getting some well-deserved recognition. And with the details, here's Gumshoe Craig Hislop.
Thank you, Jason. According to a couple of national rating services, the practical nursing program at Bridgerland Technical College in Logan is among the best in the country. Bridgerland Technical College Practical Nursing Director Yvonne Manning is joining us. Yvonne, first of all, I'm not straight on which of these websites gave you which rating. I know you know that. So just first of all, go through that, maybe the most recent ones, because I think this program has been rated near the top or at the top for quite a while. But first of all, explain that to us.
Certainly. So there are several of those websites. One of them is nurse.org. And at nurse.org, we are actually number 3 in the nation for LPN programs, which we feel like that's a very exciting position to be in. And then another one is nursingprocess.org, and they also have a rating for the best LPN programs in the state, and in Utah we are number 1. And then nursingprocess.org also does best LPN programs in the Western region, and so they look at 423 LPN programs in the Western region, and we are currently at number 2 in that position. We have been number 1 last year, but we're number 2 in that one. There's also practicalnurse.org, which also lists us as number 1 in Utah.
Now, I've been reading a little bit to get ready for this, and I've read about, and I don't understand this clearly, and I know you can help me, LPNs, which are licensed practical nurses, and LVNs, which are licensed vocational nurses. What's the difference?
It depends on which state you're in. So in Utah, we use LPN. Down in the southern region, Texas, Louisiana, they use LVN, so the vocational nurse, but it's actually the same designation of nurse.
Oh, okay. Tell me how they rate you. What are they judging you on? And just like they judge all the other programs, but what's most important that your nursing students seem to be picking up on and scoring high with?
Very good. So first off, the major amount that they are looking at are the NCLEX pass rates, which the NCLEX is a national licensure examination, and the one for practical nursing, we've had 100% pass rate since 2011, and before then we've only had a handful of students that haven't passed on their first attempt. So that's really one that they look at closely. We also look at academic quality, the nursing school's reputation, affordability. Those are the kind of things that they rank us on.
I've heard you talk about board exams. How do they
Yeah.
fit into all this?
So that is our 100% pass rate. That's probably 50 to 60% of the ranking that we do, and it's really important for a graduate to be able to pass that board exam so they can even work, because without that, their education is useless.
We were talking yesterday to get ready for this, and I may have asked a question something like, who's responsible for this, for so many, such accomplishment? And the first thing you said was, and I'm going to quote you, exceptional faculty. Tell us about these people.
They are wonderful nurse educators. So they've all had clinical experience, and some of them continue to work in the clinical setting so they can stay abreast of the newest current trends. And they also have that very caring support that they give to students. They are really exceptional to make sure we have quality education of our students.
Explain the program, as how they go through. I understand something about 2 semesters of study, and also what part the Weber State program plays in this.
Excellent. So yes, it's 2 semesters long. We have a first semester cohort, then they go into second semester, and then after that they're able to go on through a contractual agreement with Weber State University to the RN, or registered nurse program. And so that one actually is 2 more semesters, so the third and fourth semester. And we do that right here at Bridgerland in Logan, Utah.
So Weber State's got people housed in your building?
Yes, we have Weber State faculty that I'm actually the facilitator for that program, so that I connect directly with the program directors at Weber State and with the faculty here.
And I guess one of the background stories here that I'd like you to explain, because it plays such a part in what's going on at your place, is it's kind of an ongoing nursing shortage in this country.
Yes. And COVID really made it so that it's even worse. We had a lot of our older nurses that retired, and then some people said, well, I don't want to go into nursing anymore. And so both of those have played a factor in our nursing shortage, and it's nationwide. And so Utah has really tried to find ways to increase the number of nursing students that graduate so that we can find places for them in the hospitals and clinics.
Did I understand your program is moving into a new building?
We are. It's a wonderful new building, state-of-the-art simulation suite, which we haven't had. We've had to just use our laboratory, and we'll have a bigger bed lab that we can share with Weber, and it's really been an exciting move to think about that.
How long has this program existed at Bridgerland?
It's actually been here since 1997. That's when we graduated our first graduates. So it's been here for quite a while.
We've been talking to Bridgerland Technical College Practical Nursing Director Yvonne Manning. Have I left anything out that's important to this story?
I think one thing that might be important to say is that we really do have a competitive application process. So we have a lot of applicants that are trying to get into the program, and we can only take the top students. So getting good grades is an important way on all those prerequisites to be able to get into the college.
Well, Yvonne, it's a great story. I didn't know that you guys have been running such excellence for so long, but we'll share that with people, and I really appreciate you taking some time to explain it to us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it as well.
Let's get back to Jason and to Bill now.
Thank you, Craig. And like I say, always a pleasure to highlight what's going on at BTech. They do some pretty amazing stuff. From the space they make available for cash makers and the kids, to this nursing program and many of their other programs, they get, like I say, getting some well-deserved recognition. We'll be talking about BTech again soon, by the way. This is an initiative of Governor Cox's office to promote and expand the footprint, basically, in Utah's graduation rates and data they use to attract businesses in the Governor's Office of Economic Development, all that stuff. And the what we've always known of as technical schools or vocational colleges are actually getting a lot of attention nationwide right now. Businesses growing interest in students coming out of those schools, unless it's a specific field that a college 4 or 5 year degree from a university is needed. Software developers, for example, are starting to realize, these technical schools, they can actually get the students working for them faster. And the governor's office has caught wind of this. Their ears are perked up. So an initiative has been unveiled, and we'll be talking about that when it's officially made public next week. So thanks again to our listeners for joining us. Stay tuned.